Is MDMA a psychedelic? Uh, Actually, it depends on how you want to define psychedelic. My definition, I like it's. I mean, it's. I like a strict definition, and in my mind, a strict definition of a psychedelic is something that is an agonist at the 5-HT2A receptors. So 5-HT, the serotonin 2A receptors, is seems to be the target for what you might call the classic psychedelics: LSD, DMT, mescaline, even psilocybin. All of these are 5-HT2A receptor agonists. So under this strict sort of definition of what a psychedelic is, which I like for convenience more than anything to kind of define this class of drugs. And in that sense, MDMA is not a psychedelic because it does work on serotonin, but it doesn't work on these 5-HT2A receptors. What it actually works on are the serotonin uptake transporters, the same site that SSRIs interact with. Uh,
And
MDMA
globally, sorry, globally or like selectively for MDMA?
well, selectively. Yeah, it's not that selective. It's a kind of a all over the brain wherever the serotonin receptors are. And one way to think of it, the SSRIs, uh, SSRI stands for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, and it blocks the reuptake of serotonin from the synapse, right? In the synapse, serotonin is released, neurotransmitter is released, it goes to the postsynaptic membrane, it binds to the receptors, and it creates whatever effect it does. SSRIs block that. It's like it's not taken back up. So it stays at a higher level in the synapse, and so it has the putative antidepressant effect. MDMA has the opposite effect, right? MDMA binds to those serotonin transporters, but where SSRIs will essentially jam them closed, MDMA will jam them open. So if SSRIs are a vacuum cleaner that takes it back out of the synapse, MDMA floods the synapse on a global scale with serotonin. So it is not strictly a psychedelic in that sense, but it is psychoactive. You get the typical effects of MDMA, which often are associated with things like euphoria. It's the feel good drug, right? Serotonin is the feel good neurotransmitter, one of a couple of them, like dopamine is the other one. Dopamine is another conversation. But so in that sense, it's not strictly speaking a psychedelic, but it is psychoactive, and it's therapeutically quite useful for trauma and for sort of emotional, puts you in a very open and receptive emotional place. So it's couples therapy and that kind of thing. I mean, one of the stronger lessons that I take that from psychedelics that is I'm constantly reminded of every time I take psychedelics is to remember how little we actually know, and whatever you might learn from psychedelic experience or any other experience, but from a psychedelic experience, there's always a lot that remains unknown. I mean, that's just the nature of knowledge. Our knowledge is always limited. So to say that, okay, I got the message, I'm going to hang up the phone and not listen anymore. I mean, it's no different than rejecting a mentor or a teacher or someone that you might look up to.
So my understanding of that isn't to hang up permanently, but to say, okay, let me integrate, let me now live my life, because there's a message, but the message needs to be nurtured as well. Like you get a seed and you need to water it
That's exactly it.
with not being inebriated.
That's how I relate to it. That's right.
Some of the examples you gave, the indigenous people, they do so, but ensconced in a community, in a religion that's like millennia old. And often
Right.
people, there's now this new culture of taking it and taking it once a day for 30 days straight or doing it alone. Do you feel like the lessons that you get are of a different sort in the isolated case than in the communal case?
Well, yes, I do. I mean, in these indigenous communities, they take it's usually done. It's almost always done in a group situation. You know, the exception being if you're a shaman, if you're a curandero, if you're in training, if you're trying to do dietas and learn how to do it, then you might go into isolation and do it repeatedly, over a short period of time. And that is really a discipline. I mean, that is really learning how to use it so that you can then go back and you know be the facilitator for people in group sessions. So that's a different thing. Usually in indigenous cultures, it is a group session, group kind of thing. And it's not necessarily, I mean, you can't make you can't make a rule about this because the way people use it differs. But for example, it's not necessarily something we do this every Saturday or we do this once a month or sometime. Usually they do it when there's a need, when the group has a question that needs to be answered or for healing. Okay, there is this person with an illness that needs healing, so they get the group together and then the focus is on that. And back, in indigenous cultures, it's often the shaman takes the medicine, not necessarily everybody in the group. Now with
Interesting.
tourism and all that, people go down there with the expectation that they're going to take the medicine. It didn't used to be that way. There would be a group that would gather. There would be perhaps a person or several people that needed some sort of healing. The shaman would take the medicine, not everybody there. Sometimes the person getting the treatment would be given the medicine, but the use of the medicine, it's used for diagnosis basically, and for diagnosis, and then through the visionary state, the shaman gets information from whatever source it comes from, but they get information about what to do, how to treat the person, and it could be other things too. It could be, okay, where's the game going to be next spring? What are the best hunting spots? All kinds of things. But these are things of concern to the community. And the other side, the way people might use it, is a much more personal thing. It's about internal self-examination, personal growth, exploration of consciousness, if you will. Much more a self-focused kind of activity where the person is using the medicine to connect through an altered state, essentially to connect with another with another aspect of themselves, that is not normally accessible.
Do you feel, Dennis, that your yearning to go back to what you have tried pre-COVID comes from a need, like there's a question that you're trying to solve? Or is it more just you can get a massage because it's a maintenance massage? You feel like, I'm a bit stiff.
Yeah, it's more of a check-in. It's time to check in. I have taken these things many times, various kinds, but I think it's important to maintain the connection. And things do come up. It's not like something comes up and it might be something that I say, yes, I really need to take the psychedelic to reflect on this or that. But for me, it's more of a check-in.
If you enjoyed that clip, then the full podcast is out right now. You can click around here, as well as subscribe to get notified. Enjoy. Brand new full-length podcasts every Tuesday at 2 p.m. on Theories of Everything.